Hello, 5th graders. This is Miss Advina. We're ready to get our synapses snapping and our dendrites stretching. We're looking at how to use context clues to define domain-specific vocabulary. What that means is domain-specific vocabulary is scientific words. Our objective is I will be able to reread defined context clues to scientific words about corn production, check my definitions using a dictionary or scientific reference and make them more precise, and share my word knowledge during collaborative conversations and in writing. We want to see you using these words. They're not just to learn, they're to use. So let's get started. First, let's look at what words that we're going to be looking at. Symbiosis, integrity, rotation, hybrid, staple. These are the words that I'm going to be using with you today. And we're going to be going over symbiosis, integrity, and rotation, both together and with you going ahead of me by pausing the video. Remember, the beauty of a video is that you can pause, stop, rewind, fast forward as you need to. This should not be a very long video. So let's look at symbiosis first. And that's in paragraph 5. So first I need to find the word. And I'm going to make this paragraph a little bit bigger so I can see everything. And I see it right there. So I'm going to take and...
Beans could...
Oops. See if I can get my tools. I'm going to get this circle tool. And I'm going to change the color to red, because I really want this word to stick out. And I go to symbiosis, and where was it? There it is. And I'm going to put a circle around it, because I want it to really stick out. Oops. This is a bit more challenging than I expected. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to reread paragraph 5. I've already circled the word symbiosis. Remember, science texts often include technical words. It's important to understand the meaning of these words, and today's mini lesson will focus on using context clues, or the words around a word, to help create a definition. And we're going to be using a short history of a special plant. The advantage of planting 3 crops together was tenfold. Corn was a strong and vertical plant that stood straight, so the beans could curl up around its stalk. In turn, the beans fixed nitrogen to their roots, helping restore the soil. Meanwhile, the squash leaves spread out on the ground and retained moisture in the soil for the other plants. They also helped keep away pests. This mutually beneficial arrangement, and mutually means that they work together, and beneficial means that it's good for everybody, arrangement among the plants mimics the type of symbiosis found in nature. So they're saying that mutually beneficial arrangement is the same as symbiosis. So I know beneficial again means helpful, and I also notice the phrase mimics this type of symbiosis. That means the arrangement is just like that. This helps me understand that symbiosis is a relationship between 2 things that is helpful to both of them. So I'm going to go over to, and it's hard to see my tools when my thing's this big. I'm going to go to this square tool now. And I want to get those phrases. Mutually beneficial arrangement among the plants mimics this type of symbiosis. So these two must mean about the same thing. I'm going to go to my pen tool and draw a line that connects those two. And underline mimics. There we go. So now I'm going to go back over to my chart. The context clues that are helping me are mutually beneficial, mimics this type of symbiosis. Those were the context clues that I had drawn a square around and underlined and drawn a circle around our word. So my definition, based on this, is that it's a relationship between two things that is helpful to both. Now, if I go into my Google account and I put in symbiosis, I'm going to look for the definition that is part of, let's see if I can, which definition I want to look for. And it looks like we have a few of them. The living together in more or less intimate association, a cooperative relationship. That looks pretty useful. Balance. And I want to look for a definition specifically. Let's see what that brings us. Interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantage of both. So now I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to revise my definition using my reference. Interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association. And they were talking about how the corn, beans, and squash lived in a really close physical association, and it was an advantage to all three plants. So it looks like a relationship between two things that is helpful to both. Our definition really does make sense with what they're talking about. This mutually beneficial arrangement among the plants mimics the type of symbiosis found in nature. Now I want to try to use that in my writing because it works with these three plants, and I'm really talking about how corn, beans, and squash work together. So it might come in handy later to remember that word. And I could even write it over here off to the side. Okay, and now my next word, integrity, and that one's in paragraph 5 as well. You notice it says word paragraph. You're going to be creating this table either on paper or in a Word document. So integrity, the end result was a healthy crop that yielded a variety of nutritious plants and also maintained the integrity of the soil. So there's my word integrity, and I'm going to put a circle around it because that's what I had decided I was going to do. And every time I use this circle, I find that I get a little bit better with it. And I'm going to change that to 0. Okay, so now I need to look around it and see, what does integrity mean? The end result was a healthy crop. So I see certain words. Healthy crop that yielded a variety of nutritious plants. And also maintained the integrity of the soil. So it seems like this would be a good thing. Integrity would be healthy and good for the soil and good for the plants. So let's go back to our context clues. So it restores the soil, the moisture in the soil. It's healthy. Let's go back over here. The integrity of the soil. Okay, and it's healthy. So our definition might be that it's good and healthy. Now I need to go over here to integrity and put it in and see what it comes out with. The quality of being honest doesn't really seem to fit this situation, having strong moral principles. So I'm going to disregard that definition and go on down to 2. The state of being whole and undivided. Now that one seems to be a lot more reasonable for what we're looking at. So now I'm going to go over here to my definition, and the state of being whole or complete was the definition from our reference material, which was our online dictionary. Now I want you to go to paragraph 9 and find the word rotation. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find rotation. Okay, welcome back. And I'm going to go ahead and look for rotation as well. I need to get to paragraph 9. And here it would be. And I'm looking for the word rotation. There it is, rotation. And if you remember, we were using a circle to put it into, we're going to put the word in a circle. And every time I use this, I get just a little bit better. Practice doesn't make perfect, but it does make it a little easier. Now I'm looking for, what does rotation mean? One common pattern or rotation of crops is to plant soybeans one year and corn the next. And I'm going to use look for context clues. Farmers rotated crops, planting different crops each year. That seems like a pretty good definition. And you notice how I'm using a different color because I don't want it to get mixed up with our key details from our last lesson. And then I saw that they specified which crops: soybeans one year and corn the next. So a rotation must mean planting different crops each year. Common pattern: soybeans one year, corn the next. So I just typed in or wrote in the context clues. These are in quotation marks because they're coming directly from the text. So my definition is a pattern of planting different crops from year to year. Now I go into my online dictionary and I'm going to put in rotation. And it's important that I spell it correctly. The action of rotating around an axis or center. Now, it seems that there's only one definition: the action or system of rotating crops. The cycle of growth and feeling or cutting of trees. So it looks like this is our best definition: the action or system of rotating crops. So I'm going to go back to, and it's a regular cycle of events in a set order or pattern. Again, we're going back to this pattern idea. Now, boys and girls, I want you to go and do hybrid and staple. Your job is to look for, you're going to do the same for hybrid and staple, and you're going to write a definition of the word in the margins of the text. I also want you to create this table so that you have you need 3 rows, one for each of the columns, the title of the column. So you need word paragraph, hybrid 11, staple 12, context clues with 2 empty cells, our definition, 2 empty cells, and revised definition using reference with 2 extra cells. You do not have to recreate this top part with symbiosis, integrity, and rotation. Okay, boys and girls, you have your job, and I'll see you soon up at the podium. Remember, your job, our objective is, this is taking a bit longer than I expected. I will be able to reread to find context clues to scientific words about corn production, check my definitions using a dictionary or scientific reference and make them more precise, and share my word knowledge during collaborative conversations and in writing. I expect to see some of these words in your writing. See you at the podium.